Hey guys, today we're going to visit one of the most mysterious and impressive places on our planet, the Grand Canyon. This unique natural phenomenon is located in the heart of Arizona and is one of the 7 wonders of the world. But today we won't be talking about the beauty and grandeur of this canyon. Instead, we'll delve into its secrets and mysteries. Inexplicable and eerie discoveries have been made in the Grand Canyon, which still leave scientists puzzled and sends shivers down the spines of even the bravest explorers. We know that the Grand Canyon formed millions of years ago, but what happened during that time? Why are mysterious figurines and artifacts that defy any logical explanation being found there? And what secrets are hidden at the canyon floor, where no human has been able to descend? You'll learn the answers to these questions right now. The gigantic canyon stretches across the Colorado Plateau and covers an area of nearly 5,000 square kilometers. Today, its images can be seen everywhere: advertisements, postcards, various videos, and movies. The park isn't only popular among tourists, but also among the residents of the United States. The Colorado River flows through the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It is this river that caused its formation 5 to 6 million years ago. The canyon stretches for 450 kilometers in length, and its width reaches up to 29 kilometers in certain areas. The Grand Canyon reaches a depth of 1,800 meters. Just imagine how many secrets and astonishing discoveries it is hiding. Until recently, no one doubted that the Grand Canyon was created by natural forces. However, modern research of the surrounding area didn't only call this fact into question, but also made scientists reconsider their theories about what occurred there in ancient times, and even raised concerns about discrepancies in the history of humanity. For example, a recent discovery made by American researchers in 2021 was 60 ancient human footprints. A thorough analysis showed that the age of these footprints is approximately 23,000 years. This finding refutes the existing theory of when the first humans appeared in America. According to previous archaeological research, people reached the continent around 13,000 years ago. However, scientists later uncovered evidence of the presence of early humans in America 15,000 years ago. But the latest discoveries shocked archaeologists and anthropologists alike. They were off by almost 10,000 years, as apparently the first human foot stepped on the continent even before the advancing glaciers closed off migration routes from Asia. Scientists have uncovered another captivating secret of the Grand Canyon by studying its missing layers. This place, formed over 2 billion years, is a true encyclopedia of Earth's history stored in its rock formations. The lead researcher from the University of Colorado calls the Grand Canyon the textbook of Earth's history. Indeed, the successive layers of rocks demonstrate the geological evolution of this place since its inception, and it can even be seen with the naked eye. However, some parts of the canyon are missing entire layers of rock that should have spanned hundreds of millions of years. This phenomenon, discovered about 150 years ago, is called the Great Unconformity. Using thermochronology, modern scientists have managed to determine where these missing layers went. They studied how underwater rock formations heated up due to high pressure. The research showed that the canyon underwent uneven heating due to high pressure. The western part of the canyon rose to a greater height, while the eastern part was filled with debris. This means that the rocks in the west are about 1.5 billion years old, while the top of the eastern part is about 500 million years old. Scientists attribute this to the breakup of the supercontinent Rodinia, approximately 800 million years ago. The destruction led to the collapse of canyon rocks that ended up in the ocean. Thanks to modern research methods, scientists have been able to unravel the mystery of the Great Unconformity. and reconstruct the missing pieces of information about a critical period in the history of the Grand Canyon. This discovery allows us to imagine the destructive forces that were at play hundreds of millions of years ago, even before the existence of dinosaurs. However, perhaps the most sensational discovery on the territory of the Grand Canyon was made back in 1909 by explorer John Kincaid, who embarked on a journey along the Colorado River. His search was focused on valuable minerals, but he made an incredible accidental find in the process. He noticed unusual marks in the sedimentary rocks while floating in a boat along the Grand Canyon. Getting out of the boat and onto the shore, he carefully climbed up the cliffs and found the entrance to a strange cave. He walked about 100 meters in the darkness and came across a burial chamber containing various treasures and human remains. The explorer realized that he had just made an extraordinary discovery and decided to report his finding to the Smithsonian Institution. This information caught the interest of Professor Jordan, and they returned to the cave together to begin a detailed study of the mysterious discovery. Kincaid and Jordan started working together and discovered how incredible the cave was inside. The main passage was about 3.5 meters wide and descended almost 1.5 kilometers underground. It connected to a massive chamber at the end, which had a series of tunnels branching off of it. Rooms of varying sizes along these tunnels. Some were small, while others could reach an area of about 100 square meters. Each room had an oval-shaped door, and ventilation was provided through round air spaces in the walls into the passages. The walls were approximately 1 meter thick. The researchers were amazed by how precisely the passages were laid out, as if someone had carefully planned the construction. Most of the ceilings of the rooms converged towards the center, and the side entrances were built at sharp angles from the main hall. However, they gradually reached a right angle towards the back. About 30 meters from the entrance to the cave, there was a huge cross hall where a statue of a deity made in the Eastern style was found. The deity was depicted sitting with crossed legs and holding lotus flowers in his hands. The precision of the carving and attention to detail indicated the craftsmanship of a skilled artist. The statue itself, like everything else in this cave, was almost in its original state. Various small images were found around the deity. Some of them were beautiful, while others displayed distorted body shapes. Perhaps that's how ancient people depicted the struggle between good and evil. The chamber also contained various copper instruments. The people who lived in the cave knew the lost art of tempering this metal. Among other discoveries in the chamber were all kinds of copper and gold vases and cups, ceramic pottery, and glazed vessels. Kincaid also mentioned seeing something resembling a grain storage facility in the cave. It was made of a solid material resembling concrete. Adjacent to it was a huge room approximately 100 by 150 meters, which probably served as a dining hall. This room also had numerous yellow stones scattered on the floor. The entire tunnel system was so extensive that, according to some estimates, it could have housed over 50,000 people. Numerous carved hieroglyphs were found throughout the complex. The Smithsonian Institution was supposed to take on the task of deciphering them. These inscriptions resembled the ones that had been previously found on the rocks in this valley. Preliminary assessments indicated that the hieroglyphs and images were related to the religion of the locals. Surprisingly, similar engravings were also found on the Yucatan Peninsula, but nothing similar had been encountered in the East, even though many deities resembled the Buddhist ones. Some scientists believe that the old channels in the Salt River Valley were built by people from these caves. It is likely that people lived in this area for a long time, and the tunnel system served as an actual city. The most astonishing find for Kincaid and Jordan was a crypt containing several mummies. Remarkably, all the mummies discovered by the two researchers were male. Therefore, they concluded that the inner part of the cave served as barracks where warriors were trained. It would be reasonable to assume that the cave belonged to Native Americans, but the statues of gods and other artifacts better resembled the creations of the Egyptian and Tibetan civilizations. Could Egyptians have actually lived in these caves? If so, how did they manage to reach the Grand Canyon? Kincaid decided to share his sensational discovery with the press. And on April 5, 1909, an article titled "Explorations in the Grand Canyon" was printed on the front page of the Arizona Gazette. The article described the archaeological expedition conducted by the Smithsonian Institution, during which an underground citadel was discovered. It didn't only become the oldest archaeological site in America, but also the most valuable find in the world. This article was the only publication regarding the cave's exploration, so it was quickly forgotten. However, in 1993, writer David Hatcher, fascinated by the mysteries of the past, republished this article in the magazine Nexus. Following that, information about the mysterious cave spread on the internet. In 2000, scientists got seriously interested in the story of the strange cave's discovery, so they contacted the Smithsonian Institution. The institution responded by stating, "Over the years, the Smithsonian Institution has received many inquiries about the 1909 newspaper article, but the anthropology department has been unable to locate any mention of Professor Jordan, Kincaid, or a lost Egyptian civilization in Arizona in its files." However, researchers managed to find a mention of an archaeologist named Professor Jordan, whose last name was spelled slightly differently. It is likely that the Smithsonian Institution intentionally erased Kincaid and Jordan from its records and destroyed artifacts that didn't align with the generally accepted history. Researchers also found out that Kincaid made many more discoveries on government-owned territory, which means it is closed to the general public. One of his other discoveries was a tunnel at a depth of 120 meters, where he allegedly found the remains of people, whose height exceeded 2.5 meters. Undoubtedly, they tried to keep this quiet because, essentially, it was direct evidence of the existence of giants. The existence of this cave isn't a myth. It is listed as a National Historical Monument. However, its entrance is now closed with huge steel gates. If this cave exists, then it is quite likely that the cave discovered in 1909 also exists. Many researchers are still obsessed with the search for it. For example, Katie and Jerry Wells spent a long time studying information about the mysterious tunnel system and carefully preparing for their expedition. Amazingly, they actually managed to find it. However, the main entrance was at a great height, making it virtually impossible to reach. The couple noticed that there were rope ladders near the main entrance, presumably left there by other explorers. Wells managed to find another, more accessible entrance. Once inside, they discovered that it was impossible to enter the cave as the entrance was tightly sealed with huge concrete slabs. Who would need to hide the cave from prying eyes if there was nothing secret there? Another intriguing fact about the Grand Canyon, which seems to connect it to the newspaper article of 1909, is the large variety of Eastern and Egyptian names given to its peaks and hills, especially in the area of the mysterious Kincaid Cave. This and much more remains a mystery. There are many inconsistencies in this story. On one hand, no one has ever seen the relics supposedly found by Kincaid. But on the other hand, there have been mentions of this cave system long before him. Based on this, one can conclude that Kincaid either drew inspiration from the stories of previous explorers or actually revealed something that people weren't supposed to know. What remains astonishing is that these cave dwellings have been discovered by many archaeologists, yet information about their research is being withheld for some reason. Well, that's all for today, friends. Like the video if you found it interesting. Let me know if you believe that this cave exists in the comments, and we'll see you next time.